Back in the shack. Got little Jewel, got a hood scoop idea started, and I thought, man, that old visor from the CaddyWhacked project just been sitting around, and they both have sort of a V shape. And man, wouldn't that give that the attitude to have like a whole brow, you know, like a low brim look on the thing? Not chopping the top on this, so I think this will help just make it look a little more low profile. It's all about the visual, right? If it ain't weird, it ain't full custom. Let's put a visor on this. All right, so this visor was not designed for a truck, nor was it designed for a curved windshield. It was designed for like a V-butt, two-piece flat glass. But I held it up here, and it looks pretty cool. Like, it's very close, and it really complements that aggressive hood scoop, I think. The problem is the width is a little off, and there's these little details on the side here, and they only allow it to stand out that much. So I think we're going to have to install this and then figure out what to do with these little side pods. Let's start by getting into how this thing is built. And this is semi-precious stuff, so I don't want to mess it up too bad. But there's like a piece here. Ooh. Maybe not. Well, this one's off. So it's interesting. You can see that there's this piece of aluminum. It's like flat round tube or something. It's hollow inside. It goes into this little catch here, and it slides in. I'm not going to put it in because I don't want to get it stuck, but our angle needs to be more out like that. So maybe we'll just remove these and build new ones. So I also noticed that these pieces here aren't at the right angle. So let's just get a rough estimate on the cab where the height should be. And it's nice because there's this pinch weld in the body, so we have a good reference of what is even for once. And I feel like right there is a great location for it. But these have to be considerably flatter. I do have some sheet metal tools. I might be able to find one. Well, I didn't have the tool I was looking for, but I found these good flat jaw pliers. And I think that is totally adequate. Awesome. So that's going to make it a little bit difficult to get screws into this thing now, because we are changing the angle substantially. I'm going to come up with a different mounting point. It's not gonna work. Always something, isn't it? Okay, but I could push that and I could push that. There we go. But unfortunately, it is not going to let us do that. Even if I bring it up like this. I had another thing planned for today, but that option failed as well. We can get into that. I'm trying to figure out how to keep that crane stable in rotation, and I had an idea, and it wasn't going to work, unfortunately. So we're on to this simpler task. But it looks like, I don't know what is holding this up to be such a fuss. Yeah, I might just disassemble this, mount it to the truck, and then put this on. Because these, broke it. Dang, it's aluminum hardware. It was seized up. See, that's the thing about old stuff. I was just stressing about all this, and it turns out that this cool little cap pops off right here, and that broken bolt is easily remedied. New things do not allow this. Here's a little close-up of what's going on here. So I'm going to loosen this up. Try to yank that out. There it goes. So you can see it's stainless steel. This one definitely. It's got a series of little dots that would index it as you tighten that. And you can see how tight this is. Not going to get a screwdriver in there. So there's our problem. Let's try this. Let's save this button. So it looks like there's a body line. I bet I could just mount that right there. Yeah, I'm able to get those two in place. Man, I wish I could just run a drill through that. Any other options? Another option would be to tack weld a little piece of slot and put that up. There's going to be a significant amount of wind on this too. This is a straight up air catch, air dam. So I want to be concerned about that as well. Yeah, and there's 2 holes here. All right, now we got something going on. Check this. This is where Lan, my assistant Lan, with his tentacles would help out. It'd be coming around to the other side of this, holding that. Yeah, see, this hits the cab like that. It's too close. Bring it up, then that looks awkward. So, okay, so we want to build this out. Let's do this. We're going to want to bring this out to here. Now, what can we do that with? A piece of square tube? I don't know. I want to bring it out, but not so far out. It looks like we just stuck a piece of square tube in the drip rail. Or do we just forego all of this and just mount this ourselves? And that's an option too. Yeah, let's do this. Let me take this off. I think I said yeah about 14 times in the first 2 minutes of this video. Can we get a count on that? Yeah. Everybody's got their little glitches. That's mine. Okay, and the good news is somebody definitely wants this hardware. Definitely gonna be cooler if we custom mount this. I mean, I love the look of these parts. And I know that they exist somewhere. These visors were made for everything. I don't know if it's a Fulton. Doesn't have any name on it, but some folks, people collect these, so somebody definitely knows what this is. And, I'm going to throw these things in the toolbox. They might need them. So that's cool. You got these little tabs right here. And it allows this piece to come off. But I'm going to cut that. So yeah, somebody used a steel nut on the aluminum bolt, but the other one snapped off. I got the crane reversed for the moment. So that's out the way. And people were talking about that chair hitting the cab. Not even close. A couple of people also asked about the radiator fan. We're going to get to that. There is a fan on the engine right now. Of course, there's no airflow. We're going to work on that. We're going to do a little creative cardboard envisioning, I believe. Cutting and fabrication. We might just have a visor. Let's see if this height is appropriate. Look at that. That looks even. Yes. Actually a little too high. I'm going to want this bolt hole up at about the body seam. Correct. Just like that. Sweet. So it's definitely, it's too horizontal, but I want this to mount right here. That's gonna be a pretty easy thing to make. Let me get some shears, some cardboard. The problem with the other visor was these turned in and they weren't enough to really, they turned in, but they weren't on a right angle enough to get through there to drill in. So I think with this one, maybe I could just drill like this. Maybe, because this is narrow. Oh yeah, they're both narrower. Let me flip this around. I'm gonna put this in the brake. So I put this edge on it so that I'll be able to put the screws in on the outside. Don't pay attention to my prior notes. They flipped this around. They were not looking at the notes. It's a distraction. I had a weird dream about my sheet metal brake last night. I was in a different shop and it fell over. And it was like, broke the floor. It was a whole event. I don't know why I was dreaming about that, but hopefully that's not the case. So I'm looking back here and I could see that piece This is gonna come in like this, down, and I think that's long enough. Let's do something like that. And the hole is gonna be right, looking at it right there. I think 1/8 inch would be appropriate, but it might be, well, at this thickness, I think we could definitely put it in the sheet metal brake. Let's see where we're going. Real simple. That'll go there, and that hole will bring that up just a little bit. All right, let's make 2 of these to the table. This is the first thing I thought. I had a bunch of this 1/8 inch plate, but looking at it, that's thick. Like, it will work, but I don't know if I could put it in that brake. Could make it out of sheet metal. Yep, I'm gonna make it out of this heavier sheet metal. I'm gonna fold it in half, so it's gonna be 2, because that's too thick, the 1/8 inch. We don't need all that. So where would we fold that? I think we would fold it right here. So we're gonna go 1, 2. Yep, let me cut this off. I'll go over to the sheet metal brake. You know what, I'm starting to rethink this again. Because when I do have it, once it's fabricated, they're gonna have 2 panels showing, and you can't paint in between, it's gonna rust. Like, not in a good way. Let me explain. A lot of times just getting started on a project, you know, all the thinking prior to action really adds up, and it's really what stumped me this morning. We want that. We want this. So see, this is what I was saying. That's very strong. Maybe that's enough. It's one thing I've always been good at is not overthinking things, and here I am overthinking. For what? Always make something different. All right, so you like that, you like this. It's gonna come up like so. Then we want the opposite one here. Like that, like that. I could have used the tin snips on that, but I don't want to wrinkle them up. I want it to look very deliberate. When you use the shears, you tend to get these little wiggles in the material, but it's for a straight shot like that. See how it bends it down? Address these up on the tool for a second. This thing. Actually gonna put them back to back with a bolt, and then dress them up. Just gonna take this one over there and get the hole in a definite location. So what I just did was put this in the drip rail, so it actually gives it kind of a more organic edge. But I shouldn't have done that until I got these holes defined. My dang air compressor's on my fritz. Yeah. There's a little sensor, pressure sensor that turns it on and off, and it went out. And the tank filled, I don't know what pressure it filled it to, but it filled it so high that it blew the fuse. So I'm working on a somewhat modified compressor. Okay, cool. We got those. Let me get a bolt. Then we're gonna put these together and dress them on the tool. Okay, so I'm gonna see that cool little shape there. I'm gonna do the same to this one. I'll be right back. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just putting that in the drip rail, and I just pushed it. It's got a pretty cool curved shape. Do the same here. Just confirming these two. Yeah, looks great. Look at that. Let's drill a couple. I think we'll do 3 in each holes. Or you could drill those to the truck body. Now there's a pretty limited amount of space for me to drill. So you don't usually see me like dot the area that needs to be drilled. I'm gonna dot it. Telling you what. One there, just so the drill bit doesn't wander. Just match these. So see, this was my whole concern with the thicker material. It wouldn't give you this kind of cool organic shape. It'd just be very, very stamped out looking. So we have a double strength thickness here with the hem edge, and then we're gonna have triple strength on the hole. And then that's not gonna fatigue. That's cool. When I say fatigue, I mean it's gonna shake, get brittle, and snap. Take a coat hanger and do that 10 million times. You'll understand. I didn't bring my cordless drill, that's why I'm using the air drill. Okay, so let's go back to the front of the truck. Should I install this on the visor? No, because that's just gonna add up to a whole bunch of stress. Trying to balance that thing is what I'm saying. And of course I'm gonna take these off and paint them, but we wanna fit it first. And don't go away, because not only do these go on, but we have to create the thing that holds it up. There's a whole lot happening today. Even though I didn't know what I was going to do 25 minutes ago. Take a look at that. See if we can't screw this thing together. Let's remember, we got 1, 2, 3, we got 4 washers, 2 bolts, 2 nuts, 1 drill. Somebody said with the old age, you start to make more lists. I agree. Now, one odd thing about this visor I've seen nonstop is it's kind of crooked, because it is cracked on the front edge on the inside. So I'm hoping that by mounting it, we'll be able to twist it a little bit with these little uprights. And you can see that the visor isn't as wide as the A-pillars at the windshield. It's got to come this way a touch. So we want to even this up. See, it just doesn't want to cooperate. It's a little bit, see, there's a crack right here and on the other side too, so kind of does that. But I know I wanted that. Oh, this is great. Amazing. All right, let's screw this in. I'm using this body seam as the mark. Yeah, by curving this, it just brought that in just a touch. Can't make this stuff up. Now, if we hear our air compressor pressure dropping, I'm gonna have to turn it on manually, because that's how we're rolling for the time being. Let's put this away so we don't shake it and fall it off. I'm gonna leave these just a touch loose also. Done this on a couple other trucks. I put the visor on the same manner, but those visors were this design. One little double check. Our top bolt. Yes, this is coming right up to the body seam. Bolt, screw, whatever. These things are gonna wiggle loose, guaranteed. So a hardware change will be appropriate. They look like self-tappers, but they're very fine thread, and they have a rubber grommet. So I'm looking at this along the drip rail. Is that sunk 100%? Yep, that's following the drip rail directly. So there's a little curve to it, so I'm going to sink this and back it off. All right, let's see what happens with this visor. Oh, I like it. I think it's going to work. Big old washer on the outside. Oh, look, it fits. What a pleasure. Once I get this fit up, I'm going to tighten it to the body first, because I can see that these angles are a little off. It's going to sandwich that, which is good. It's going to rigidize. It's going to put some stress in there. But this is going to have significantly more leverage than the little screws going into the sheet metal. See how it's going to pull this together. So I'm going to knock these into shape. And the air drill, it's actually a lot more sensitive than the electric one. I kind of like it because you can feather the trigger. The electric, it has that little ratcheting adjustment. Kind of buzzy. Oh, look at this. Sweet. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. This is perfect because you want some air to come under here, because if not, that's a pure air dam. 1/2-inch ratchet. So now I'm just going to tighten this up as tight as I can to smush these into shape, and then I might have to bend them a little bit. Of course, this hardware is oversized. So that's all I got at the moment. I'll just loosen it just a touch so we can spin this and adjust. Does it look even side this? Yeah, see how it kind of wiggles? That's what I don't like about this. So let's crush this. All right, now I'll just loosen it up just a touch for swivelability. I like it. Now, let's take a look at the side view, because that's definitely, it's horizontal again. It looks weird. Is it gonna hold its place? Sure ain't. But just looking at this, okay, so that looks decent. You know, the side to side worked out. And looking at the light, that looks okay. I feel like this height right here is gonna be best. Yep. Yeah, it's just, see how it dips? It dips right there. It doesn't do that on that side. Now, it wasn't a tremendous windstorm in the Mojave Desert. That could be what's happening here. Oh, I can see it's flexed. Well, now it's mounted. Maybe I'll try to push it up. This thing was flapping in some gale force winds out in the desert. Did that help? It had to come off on one side and it was just shaking around. Oh yeah. It still looks a little weird, but I think it's because this side is drooping. Let's model a bracket off of this side. Yeah. That's a big visor. Okay, so we don't need this adjustable. Like, not at all, because it's just going to be on this truck. So let's say it would be pretty clean maybe if we just had a rod right to here. And I could probably just weld that. We came up with a distance and I could just flatten it and drill it right to that. Because with truck accessories, you know, you'll see a lot of bolt-on stuff. I got some cool mirrors for this. You know, I want the full thing with the mirrors hanging, the little round one and the little dome-shaped one. So it's trucking, right? That's what I want. So I'm just gonna compare these distances, see where we are. If I was to weld a piece right inside here, it would be 9 inches to the hole. Now I'm betting this one's considerably lower. Aha! It's a 1/2 inch lower. Let's make 2 sticks at 9 inch with a little flat tab we could bolt to. Now because they're so short, we won't need to have a very large diameter. I think, yeah, look at this stuff right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this over to the anvil. I'm just gonna pound this thing flat and then drill a hole through it. So I'm gonna cut them a little bit longer. Probably gonna cut them at 10, then do the work, then cut the ends off. So for the moment, I'm gonna use the same self-tapper screws that I used for the other stuff. So I'm gonna take this and slam it on the vise. I'll be right back. See what I'm saying? So not only does that make it flat, it makes it very strong because it's smashed. So I'm gonna take the drill. Before I dress these up, I'm just gonna establish a hole. Just so they look more like vehicle parts and less like some Iron Age medieval stuff. Now I bet this is gonna be the last of it. We're going to drill, we're going to weld that, and we're going to screw that. Okay, so I did build up that weld a little bit to really put an end on this. It's a little bulky now, but that extra reinforcement's gonna help. That's the whole thing, symmetry. Same distance, should add up. And I am gonna need a center bracket. I think I'm gonna install the windshield first. Right now we're theorizing the look. This looks good. Because otherwise that's going to be flapping around. So I may just come off with a big structure underneath. We'll see. So I'm paying attention to not burn away that thin sheet metal. Because not only is that the look, burning away would make it less strong. So yeah. A nice structure in there. Let's take out that jack stand. Yeah, that's way floppy. I have to come up for something with that. But I think, yes, and see, it's still warped. Now that the sides are locked, center, I think maybe once I put that center piece in, that'll help. I think the gravity and the two cracks are making that thing floppy. Well, hold on. That helped. So this camera is at about 5'6". I'm just discussing the angle. I think that's decent. I like it. We were trying to film without this fisheye. So that's the widest. That's what I'm looking for. Because we noticed the camera was giving different looks with different settings on this. But look at that now. Totally cool. Gives it that V into the hood scoop. Back to one. Yeah. Yes. Well, I think little Jewel with the blow mold gallery in attendance. You have to put some WD-40 on this. That's exactly it. Sitting in here, you can see the visor. It's like a little panoramic view. I like this. Totally groovy. Gives you the feel of a chop top while you're in here, but tons of headroom. Remember, I am on a seat with no cushion. Well, all right then, folks. I'd like to thank you for spending your time. One step closer. Things are starting to stack up. Next, we're going to have to build some support for these large front fenders. I was looking at a couple pieces of material to stab into the chassis and make a support out here. But that's a whole other story. And we'll see you, hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. It's all in a day's work. And life is good.